प्रतिबोधिता भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथिता पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्ततामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीम्.
Verse 19. You are in the last two verses of the chapter. Yeah. For reading?
Yes. तुल्य इंद्रा स्तुति मौनी संतुष्टो केनचित् अनिकेत स्थिरमते भक्तिमान में.
श्लोक तुल्य निंदास्तु निर्मौनी संतुष्टो संतुष्टो येन केनचित् अधिकेत स्थितमते भक्तिमान में प्रियो नरः.
Yes. Yeah.
तुल्य निंदास्तु ही one who is equal to ensure and praise. Mauni, disciplined in speech. Santushtaha, satisfied. Yena kenachit, by whatever he gets. Aniketaha, the one who has no place to call his own. Stiramatihi, whose knowledge is firm. Bhaktiman naraha, the man who has devotion. Me priyaha, he is beloved to me. The man who is equal to censure and praise, disciplined in speech, satisfied by whatever he gets, who has no place to call his own, whose knowledge is firm, and who has devotion is beloved to me. Voice is clear, eh?
Yeah, clear. Yeah.
Because I have my own doubts. In the previous verse, he showed that the wise man is the same in respect, mana, and disrespect, mana, and disrespect, apamana. Here he says he is the same. He is the same tulya in censure. Ninda.
He is the same tulya in censure, ninda, and an assault of criticism. Yeah, ninda means an assault of criticism. That's what he says.
An assault of criticism. Okay. And demeaning words or actions, and in praise, stuti.
Yeah.
Praise and censure of a wise man by someone who is ignorant or meaningless. Whatever praise one may give, the wise man knows he is more than that because he is not different from Parameshwara. Since he has no sense of want, nothing will flatter him. And if people criticize, well, they have every freedom to do so. Both praise and censure are the same to him in the sense that neither creates any appreciable change in his mind. Some change is possible because we accept Dridashuka and
Dristashuka means what is direct. This is what is immediately you can see. Dristashuka.
Dristashuka and Drishta Dukha. Drishta Dukha. Even for a jnani.
Even jnani, in the sense, somebody comes and directly tells some bad words to him. Immediately he will definitely feel what this person is abusing, like that. But it will not create appreciable change in his mind. That's what he's trying to say. Yeah.
One second. Even for a 1 second.
As a result
of a situation, there can be vritti vishesha, a particular mental condition. A jnani can laugh as well as be serious, but the reality behind all these mental conditions is purna, which is why the mind is wise. The mind of a wise is likened to the ocean. Sometimes it is calm, sometimes it has a roaring fullness, sometimes a rippling fullness, but it is always full without depending upon the entry of waters from different rivers, much less the rain. The ocean enjoys the oceanness without depending upon any other water source. Similarly, the wise man is subjected to drashta sukha dukha.
Drishta Sukha Dukkha, but behind it there is no ajnana. Yeah.
Drishta Sukha Dukkha, but behind it there is no ajnana. So the mental condition is not taken as himself. His identification with the mind is not from any lack of discrimination. Aviveka tadatmya.
Tadatmya meaning identification. Viveka tadatmya will not be there. Yeah. Only he will have viveka tadatmya. With discrimination, he will have viveka tadatmya. Yeah.
What is tadatmya?
Tadatmya meaning identification, basically.
Identification.
Tad atma. That is me. That is the identification. Tad atmiya. Tad atma atmiya. Atmiya means identification. Tad. And the mental condition and himself he will not identify. Even though there can be a mental condition of immediate drishta sukha dukha, he will not identify. Okay, it is there. That's it. Whereas his identification will be with viveka. That is atma all the time. Real atma. That is changeless atma. That is what he is trying. With discrimination, he will have viveka tadatmya, and with discrimination, he will not have aviveka tadatmya.
I have a question here.
Yes,
When somebody passes a criticism against me on any particular issue, I may get a feeling that I may give it back to him. How do you get rid of that feeling?
Yeah, basically that is what we had discussed this before also. What happens is, when a person discusses an issue, and if you have the knack of looking at his comments, whatever it may be, his opinion, etc., on the issue, if you have paid keen attention to the opinion he is giving, even though it may be colored by a bias and all that, but if you are keenly attentive to his opinion, that he is trying to insult you, or that will not come up in our mind. So the knack is to attend to the issue rather than that he is addressing it, he is trying to abuse me or trying to insult me, whatever. Friends, that the personal tadatmyam, the identification that I am the person here, he is attacking me. That tadatmyam, if it is not there, and you identify, pay attention to the issue, automatically the feeling of insult will not affect you immediately. So you won't feel like reacting because you are attentive to the issue. So that is a knack. But here what he says, even if you feel that he is insulting you, even while you are attending to that, even if you feel that he is insulting you, you don't identify. He insults whom? The person in his mind. The person of the person in his mind he is addressing. He is not addressing the real you. Because he doesn't know, honestly. Nobody knows exactly what is your real you. He is having a picture in his mind, he has got a label about you in his mind and he is addressing. So, either way you don't have any tadatmyam with that. Okay, because the person in his mind is not you, so no tadatmyam. And second thing is, you are not, you are attentive to the issue rather than what he tells about me. There again there is no tadatmyam. This is called vivek tadatmyam. This way we can avoid, even in a very confronting situation, we can be alert to the issue on hand, and if at all there is any merit in what he is telling, we can try to do something about it, or if it is no merit, we can always ignore it. But in either way, you won't take it upon yourself, you will not feel like reacting. That reaction you can avoid. The immediate direct benefit is, you will avoid reaction, because you are not concentrating on you are not identifying that whether he is insulting you, because most of the time what happens also, even the other person is trying to address the issue, since you are so much bothered that he is trying to insult you, you will already immediately as he begins talking, you will start working in your mind, how am I going to rebut him, rather than looking at the issue. So again, your efficiency in reflecting on the issue and giving a proper reply will not be there, because you are again, your identification is so much, you will immediately start, you will not even listen to him halfway. You will start preparing your reply. How am I going to counter him? So that is precisely what happens basically. That is why there is no real discussion happening. Generally action and reaction. That is what happens. So I think we can definitely, if we are alert to these things, we can do that. We must be able to listen. That is where the identification is the most important problem for all of us is, we identify too much of identification with our aham, mama, buddhi, I, me, myself, my position, my power, all that. So much of identification we build up, it's very difficult to, that identification, if we can, in the light of what we are going through, what this understanding and Gita, generally our satsang with people and all that, over a period of time, this identification doesn't really help. It is all only a role play. It is only the being is the reality, everything else is, including your body, mind, senses, is a role play. Definitely the aham, mama, buddhi, my power, my position, my wealth, and is again, they are mahyam, not even mama, they are mahyam. That is your possession, that's all. Because of your mamatvam, you give importance to mahyam. Mahyam means what I have. Even mama, that my body, my mind, senses, my family, myself, even that is not important. Mahyam is dur ki baat hai. Even that definitely is not important. And aham, the identification. I am this body, this person, I am. That is the first level of identification. Mama, if it is not there, the I am also will not be there. And then even in the real terms, you will have a lot of this cushion, inside cushion will be there. You will be able to address the issue. Even if there is a very confronting discussion also, you will be able to keenly observe what the other person is saying, whether he makes sense and all that. You will be able to make notes and come out with a proper response rather than a reaction. I think this all helps. That is, but what it helps in Laukika is only corollary. But the reality, what he is talking about is, in terms of reality, it is tadatmyam. The tadatmyam should be with the viveka tadatmyam, not the aviveka tadatmyam. Aviveka tadatmyam, anyway, we have been doing all along. It does not help us. So better let us move into viveka tadatmyam. Meaning that I am the powerful being, everything else is a role to play. That is what the centerpiece of what this jnani is supposed to be. All the time he will be more identified with the glorious self rather than the insignificant self. You will all be getting that this weekend talk, no? That it talks about that, Swamiji, specifically. So there is Saturday, tomorrow's talk will be on that. Yeah.
He is a Mauni.
No, 1 minute. 1 minute, I have one more point. The attitude of giving back to somebody when somebody criticizes me is bad.
Yeah, actually, basically, there is one book called, I think Prashant should get that, Action and Reaction. There is one book in our library. Specific book it is, Action and Reaction. Reaction doesn't help. Reaction makes you an animal straight away.
Or in other words, tit for tat.
Sir, the reaction, whether it is a reaction is a proper reaction, it can incidentally be proper also. That doesn't mean, as long as it is not deliberate, even if it is a proper reaction, it is still a reaction. And reaction does not help. Reaction means what? We were impulsive. You have to be deliberate. That is the difference between a man, a human being and an animal. Animal has the license to react because it has only, that much only it is programmed. We are not programmed. That is why the free will, that karmanyeva adhikaraha te, what we discussed in the second chapter, every action has to be deliberate. Adhikaraha means deliberate action. Adhikaraha means right, not right. Adhikaraha means deliberate action. Karmani eva adhikaraha te. You are supposed to be deliberate in everything what you do. And deliberation means no reaction. It is only response. Appropriate response. So reaction is never, whether it is good or bad, it's situational, how the other person takes it. It's all, sometimes it may work also. But that is not the criteria. That we react is not, no, we are not supposed to, because that grows on us. That grows on us. Then we start reacting, anything and everything. So the appropriate response, that cushion, the space, that identification with the tadatmyam, with the reality, all that is getting vitiated. Whereas you become identified with the body-mind situation. And then again, actually, its limitation is your limitation. My mind is feeling emotional, so I am emotional. Whereas if there is a distance between, yes, the mind is having some motion, it is getting hurt. I am able to observe that hurt itself is only a what you call sensation, that's all, it's not even a hurt. So that distance is very important, very essential, I tell you. Especially when you are, the whole, the tatparyam, the whole, what do you call, the objective of this understanding is to have that space inside, all the time, 24/7. So very important, because that is the reality. That space is the reality. That is the free will. The free will, what we call about, that kartum sakyam, akartum sakyam, anyatava kartum sakyam, is possible. That free will is free only when there is space. Otherwise, it's a bound will. You react means what? You have got a whole set of personality issues and the situational memories, grudges. All that come to play. So you are only reacting. So you are not the person, the free will person for the moment. You are not in the presence. You are living from the past. That means you are not the present person. That means you are, to that extent you are, in the sense, the present person is the most valuable person. So all those things are there. So many implications are there. When we are talking about reaction is never a good, in the sense, because see, the thing is that we don't know about, most people, we don't look at all these things. So it doesn't really doesn't look like it is something negative and all that. But it's a very important thing, very important, very big loss if you are not able to be responsive rather than if you are going to be reactive. Very big loss in our life. Thus, reactive mind is purely mechanical, no? It is mechanical. Mechanical meaning your faculty is not what it should be. In the sense, just you are programmed like an animal. So, when we immediately, once we say we are responding like an animal, automatically you won't like it. Even that may bring in some reaction. So that is very important.
So learning Bhagavad Gita, we should avoid having reaction.
Yeah, definitely. The thing is that if you should not make it a what you call, that I should avoid reaction. That that should may create a sense of a complex that I am reacting and all that. The sense you try to absorb it, understand it, and suppose outside, now you go out of the class, something happens, immediately react. Immediately you don't self-condemn yourself. No, this is not the way I should be doing it. Right? Do some soliloquy. self-lecturing. You have to do a lot of self-lecturing. I used to do a lot of self-lecturing, honestly.
Swamiji, this one thing I wanted to ask. Chapter 2, while reading about karma, pala, all those terms, nowhere I could see what our. I've heard from Shastras that when you have a lot more difficult situations to face, your that karma is slowly reducing and you are getting rid away of your sins to that extent. Like that, I have heard in many books.
Yeah, that's there. That is there. Definitely in the sense that a person who actually, we will say the person who is put into a lot of difficulty, Bhagavan is near to him because all his papas are getting exhausted fast. So that is one way of positively looking at it. That is one way of positively looking at it. Second thing is, when you are in a difficult situation, you are generally more alert. In the sense, if you are a proper upbringing and dharmic upbringing, when you are put in a difficult situation, you will be very alert. Then all that the alertness will help in not ensuring that I have to do something to move out of this difficult situation because I'm already down. I cannot react and make things worse. So I have to respond appropriately. The alertness will be there. So all those things. So difficult situation. That is why, like unlike in exams, where you face easy questions first and then take the difficult questions. In life, you have to do ulta. You have to take difficult situations first and deal with it appropriately. And the easy situations will fend for themselves. You don't have to do much. Easy situation will just take care of themselves. You can sail along. Whereas difficult situation, you have to pay attention and attend to it upfront. So that again will help in terms of becoming more deliberate in your responses and all that. It's all there. Karmanyeva adhikarata is the sutra vakyam for karma yoga. One verse, if you are able to understand thoroughly, it gives you a lot of freedom. Deliberate action is in your hands at all times. Because definitely we know, right away we know, we have this freedom, we only have this freedom. A donkey or a dog, if you throw a ball, it runs after it and gets it. It knows only that much. It cannot turn away. It is not in its genes. It is programmed that way. Whereas, I can hold it, I can drop it, I can hold it this way. Right away we know, each one of us know that we have got kartum shakyam, akartum shakyam, manyatava kartum shakyam. That itself should tell us the free will is all the time available for a human being. The free will equal to space, equal to freedom, equal to moksha. So that is our reality. But in case of this, since we are talking right away, I am able to do that. But in a real life situation, when we are facing people and situation, we react. There, this freedom, we give it a go by. Then naturally to that extent, you become more of a programmed person, less of a free person. So automatically, the consequences are not going to be that good. If you are a free person, what you act will be any time better than being a programmed person. Because a programmed means you are only limiting your capabilities. So all the time, how to retain this free will all the time? That should be the way in which we should live. That is what is called karmanyeva adhikaraha. And that can happen only when you are all the time not focused about ma paleshu kadachana, pala trishna, that excessive attachment to palam. What am I going to get? What am I going to get in the future by doing this work? So much of attachment, you lose your freedom in acting. That is why second sentence, ma paleshu kadachana, ma karma pala hetu buhu. However big you are not the hetu for the palam. You are not the only cause for the palam. Palam is decided by so many factors apart from what you do. A lot of hidden factors are there. So what is the point in being worked up about a palam which has got so many hidden factors? Rather than concentrate on what I can do right now. That is more intelligent living. So that is why twice it is told, the same verse, twice it is told by Bhagavan. Ma paleshu kadachana, ma karmapala hetu bhuhu. And mate sangostu akarmani. And that doesn't mean that you will refrain from doing anything. No, you have to do, you have to be alert to your free will and do what you are supposed to do, appropriate to the given situation. Total focus on the action. Karmani. All that. No, that is what it means when he says, I used to tell, don't say Ayyo. That's what I was mentioning. Yeah.
He is a Mauni.
Yeah.
Mauni. Yeah. This is a great. Shall I continue?
Yes. Continue.
This is a great qualification of a wise man. It does not mean that he does not talk. If he did, there would be no teaching. But that is his organ of speech. That is no teaching, but that his organ of speech is well disciplined so that his speaking is measured and what he says he means. This is not a mandate, but again a very natural expression for him. He has no need to chatter because chattering is an expression of restlessness. The pressure builds up and you find you have to talk. And it is good to talk. But for the wise man, this pressure does not exist. So talking is not necessary. This can also be practiced as a sadhana as long as it is not made an ideal. It is not made an ideal. Talking should be fruitful and judicious, neither too much nor too little. He is happy with anything. Santushtaha yena kenachit. With any given thing, he is happy because he is happy with himself. He will do what is necessary to take care of the body, but he has no scheme to manipulate the world in order to benefit from it. The few things that are necessary for any living person are all he bothers with. Whatever they are, and in whichever form they come, he is santushta, totally happy. He is not complaining. He is not a complaining person. He is a non-complaining person. Sankara reminds us here of another Vakya from the Mahabharata, which expresses the same thing. All the gods call him Brahmana.
Yeah, I think the footnote you are reading.
Yena kenachid chiddano yena kenachidastitah yatra kvachana sagi cha tumdena brahmana viduhu
Shanti Parva. What he says is Kenachit Achanno. Achanno meaning anything that what do you call any situation. So Kenachit Achannaha, Kenachit Asitaha, Yatra Kvachana Saya Cha Tvam Deva Brahmanam Viduhu. In the sense, whatever Kenachit meaning anything that comes, what we say, no, edurcha labha santushta, whatever that comes his way, whether in terms of situation, or whether in terms of food, or whether in terms of clothing, shelter, whatever way it comes, kenachit achannaha, the way of living that is available to him, asitaha, the asanam, or what the respect, wherever they are giving him, and saya, the sense, whatever, saya meaning exactly, I don't know honestly. I have to find out. What is saya meaning? Maybe Vachana saya. We have to check that. So whatever be the situation, tam deva brahmanam vidhu. In the sense, he will accept it gladly. So the brahmanam meaning a thinking person. A thinking person, in the sense referring to the jnani here. In the Mahabharata, referring to the jnani, they say that he will be in any situation, he will be at home. That is what he means. Generally, he will be at home with any situation. He will not get flustered in any situation. That is what he is trying to say. Yeah.
Yena kenachidachanno, yena kenachidastaha, Kenachidastitaha yatra kvachana
Kenachit asitaha. Yeah.
Kenachit astitaha yatra kvachana saicha tum devo brahmanam viduhu tum deva brahmano viduhu.
Brahmanam viduhu. Yeah, Brahmanam means thinking person. A person, jnani, basically. What in this context it is jnani. Yeah.
Kanti Param 242, 245.12.
Yeah.
Shankara reminds us here of another Vakya from the Mahabharata which expresses the same thing. All the gods call him a Brahmana whose clothes can be ragged, who is satisfied with whatever food he gets and whatever he finds shelter to lie down and rest. The idea is...
Saya may be shelter. Saya means shadow or we generally tell, even in Tamil, generally we say that, right? In that is precisely what he means by Shaya. Kvachana Shaya. Even if he just gets a shadow to put his head and sleep, he'll be happy. He doesn't even want a roof. Even to that extent, he is so simple person, simple living. Yeah.
Sayanam, Swamiji.
Sayanam, correct. Sayanam. Saya
is shadow in Hindi.
Yeah, shadow in Hindi. Saya, what she says also is Sayanam. That's also true. Sayanam means to place to lie down. Yeah.
The idea is you do not need to provide him with comforts to keep him happy. People generally require many things to keep them cheerful. Certain types of music, food, company, even conversation topics must all be to one's taste, must all be to one's taste, or one gets disconcerted. Some people cannot bear to be in a conversation in which they cannot participate. Even the clouds must be kept away to keep some people cheerful. A wise man, on the other hand, is already pleased with himself, so he is easily pleased with whatever he has. If you are pleased with yourself, the world need not do much to please you, or can it displease you? Nor can it displease you. Aniketa, he has no dwelling place and he is happy. This does not mean that he should have no roof over his head, but there is no place which he calls his own. The one for whom there is no Mama Buddhi.
Mama Buddhi means it's my house. That's sort of what you call my house in the sense. Generally, people have that my house and all that, but you can say my house. That Mama Buddhi should not be there. There's so much of identification with the house that by whatever reason, if you have to move to a different house, you feel totally let down in life. Those things should not happen. The identification is the problem. One for whom there is no Mama Buddhi is called Aniketaha. Niketaha meaning is a possessive attitude towards to the house. Aniketaha means not having that attitude. That's all. Yeah.
All these words reveal the person, but lastly he says the real Bhakta is a Stiramatihi.
One is a very steady person. Yeah,
Stiramatihi. Previously he said Ardhanishchayaha.
Again, Drida Nishchayam means firmness of mind. The same thing is called Stiramatihi now. Yeah.
The one whose understanding leaves nothing to be desired, and he concludes, repeating the same thing. Stiramatihi is one whose understanding is firm in that it is complete. There is no vagueness or doubt. One may ask whether someone has a total commitment to making money. Is he not also a Stiramatihi? But with regard to money, there and with anything other than Atma, the Mati is always Astiraha because Stiraha is possible.
Sthirata is possible.
Sthirata is possible only when that one dwells upon his Sthira, constant. It should be Nitya. not subject to change, and also complete. Purna, in order for the mati to be sthira.
Yeah, good. That is why, see, we have to understand this very thoroughly. In the sense, we have always talked about only Atma is changeless. That only can be stiram. So, if you have a mati, commitment to something stiram, naturally your mati will be stiramati. But even if you have a steady dhrida nischaya towards money and all, which are all anyway changing, even though you may have a dhrida nischaya, but it will keep changing. The focus changing, the value will keep diminishing, going up, inflation and all that. So it is not, may allow you to be a stiramati, even though you may have a commitment. So it is wise, it is wisdom or intelligent living to have a stiramati in something which is changeless. That is only Atma. That is what we are talking about. The whole thing is your identification with Atma can and be a stiramati is lifelong helpful, and we can claim it as reality. Every other stiramati, even though you have commitment, it is not going to be helpful because that is going to keep changing. That's what he is trying to say. Yeah.
Up to this point, before that, the mati is sthira because the object is sthira. He is awake to the paramartha vastu, the thing that is real or satya. That is only Brahman, which is Atma. Up to this point, all that has been said is an expression of the person. It can be absolute or absolute, in which case he has sthira mati, or the expression of these qualities may be only relative, as we do see in some ethical, balanced people who are not necessarily jnanis. Thus, we have no real features to distinguish whether a person is wise or not. Finally, only sthira mati determines whether he has wisdom. His knowledge of the fact that Atma is Brahman is firm, never assailed by any doubts. Bhaktiman sassaraha.
That is the verse. Bhaktiman sa naraha is the verse. It is there in the verse that he is talking about. Yeah.
That person is a devotee. The popular meaning, Rudyartra.
No, Rudiyartha. Rudiyartha meaning popular meaning. There can be a grammatical meaning or etymological meaning or Vyutpatti meaning and all. That's all there in the language. But Rudiyartha meaning popular meaning. So, Bhaktiman sa naraha, the person is a devotee. The popular meaning Rudiyartha of a nara, he is explaining now. Read.
He is simply person, but its etymological meaning is the one who does not die. No rayate.
No, na riyate iti naraha. This I have discussed before also, many times. Na riyati iti naraha. That is the etymological meaning of the word nara, meaning he is never not there. See, the beauty is double negative. Na riyate iti naraha meaning he is never not there, meaning not, he is always there. What is always there? Only Atma. So, Nara, if you can call yourself Nara, only if you understand, only when you identify yourself as Atma. Not as a human being with mind, body, senses. Mind, body, senses is only a possession. Like even your car and house. Whereas, Naraha, Nariyate iti Naraha, the epithet for Paramatma, the Atma, which is never not there. That is the only identification that suits you. Because all of us, everyone born in this culture, they easily understand this word Nara. But we never really scrutinize the meaning of that word. Once we have to call ourselves as Nara, then we have to be understanding that our reality is Atma. That's what he's trying to say here. Yeah.
His knowledge of the fact that Atma is Brahman is firm, never assailed by doubts. Bhaktiman so naraha, that person is a devotee. The popular meaning, that's what we read already, no? is simply a person, but its etymological meaning is the one who does not die. Nariyate iti naraha, an epithet for Paramatma. Because of his knowledge of Atma, the person has become a Nara. He is further called Bhaktiman, the one who has Bhakti. which means Jnana Swarupa Bhakti, and he is beloved to me.
See, Jnana Swarupa Bhakti means what? Jnana means what? Jnana means I am Atma. So, Bhaktiman Sa Naraha meaning, Bhaktiman, he can be a Bhaktiman only when he identifies yourself with the, he has got the Bhakti, which means Jnana Swarupa Bhakti, meaning the Bhakti is, this understanding is Swarupa. What is the Swarupa? Is identification with Ishvara. What is the identification with Ishvara? Brahmatma. Ishvara is Brahmatma, all of us know. In his own identification is what? Naraha. Na riyate in Naraha, I am also Atma. So I am Atma, Ishvara is Paramatma. So there is identification, automatic, natural identification. So naturally his Bhakti is Ananya Bhakti, oneness with Ishvara. So Bhaktiman Sa Naraha. That's all. That the sentence itself is Mahavakya by itself. Bhaktiman Sa Naraha. Yeah.
And he is beloved to me, Me Priyaha, which means, as we have been seeing, he is my Atma. He is not separate from me. Here, Bhaktiman is used in the sense of Jnani. We have seen the 4 types of Bhaktas. The Bhakta in distress, the one who is a Bhakta when he wants something, a Mumukshu who is pursuing knowledge, and the Jnani who Bhagavan declares as himself. That is the Bhakta described here. Let us maintain the word Bhakta as the word devotee can be problematic. The root bhaj, from which it comes, means to pursue and also to gain. Now, Bhagavan concludes, introducing this last verse. Shankara says that the list of the group of attributes of these sannyasis who have clear knowledge of the real vastu, who have freed themselves from the threefold desire for wealth, progeny, and hereafter, and who are committed.
No, come on, you have to read it like this. Who have freed themselves from the threefold desire for wealth, progeny, and the hereafter. Hereafter meaning punyam. Progeny meaning, yes, I want my santati. Wealth is required for progeny as well as for the hereafter punya. That is why putraishanayaha, vittaishanayaha, lokaishanayaha, vyuttaya. That is what is expressed here as who had freed themselves from the threefold desire for wealth, progeny, and the hereafter. And his commitment only is to pursue the Akshara Brahma, which was initiated, is now concluded. Akshara Brahma was the first verse of this 12th chapter. When we started, you are examining the Akshara Brahma. Now he is concluding the last verse, next verse, he will conclude. So, his commitment, the Jnani's commitment is only to pursue Akshara Brahma. That will not decline. That will not never undergo any change. So, that is prudent living. What is not changeless, if you are able to pursue and if you are able to get it, it will stay with you forever. Then there is no problem, like there is no improvement, there is no decrease. You will always be in Atma Santushtaha. So that person will, at the exclusion of wealth, progeny, and the hereafter, you will not be looking for punya, you will not be looking for wealth, you will not be looking for I, me, my family, etc. and commit himself to the understanding of Akshara Brahma. So his commitment, the threefold desire meaning, there will not be any excessive attachment to wealth, progeny, and hereafter. His commitment will be to all the time to have this proper understanding of life. Understanding life is his commitment. Everything else is only an upaya. All that, giving me an infrastructure, only to that extent I will have a value for that. I will not have excessive attachment to all these things which will distract me from my committed pursuit of Akshara Brahma. It was initiated, is now concluded. Next verse we will conclude tomorrow.
And who are committed to the pursuit of Akshara Brahma, which was initiated, is now concluded. All the qualities taught so far are summed up in this last verse. Verse
Yeah.
20. Etu dharmyamritamigam yatoktam paryupasate shraddhadhana parama bhaktosteti me priyaha.
Okay, we will see it tomorrow. Yeah.
Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purname